Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
It's quite a bit.
It is quite a bit.
Who's a talker?
I wonder whoever was typing this out, his poor little fingers probably fell off.
It's like the book of Eli was laying down just telling his story. So.
This has gone on for so long, the original guy typing died. Probably a stomach ulcer.
Yes.
Stressed from drinking so much.
He's very sick.
So.
It's all that cyanide. He took the pill.
He took the pill.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. My name is Marcus, and I am your clueless leader. Today, we're going to go on a learning journey. We are in part 2 of an infinite number of parts on the history of Yoshimura.
It's a novel.
I just want to point out, when me and Daniel first had this conversation about the history of Yoshimura, Daniel was like, I think we can do it in 4 or 5. And I was like, I think it's going to take more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 1 was 45, or part 1 of this was 45 minutes, and it was two chapters.
Yeah.
So,
And would you say there are 14 chapters total?
25. But at the same time, we're going to get to a point. Hang on. Let's clarify. We're going to get to a point where we're going to go through these a lot faster because it's going to just be a lot of,
Detail.
race information. Yeah.
Well,
Detail.
the modern stuff tends to go faster than the old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're starting. Oh, wait. Hang on. I forgot. I do have Miss Muffin.
Hey, y'all.
And I have Daniel.
I'm still here.
We're still here.
So this is
By the time you're listening to this, there will be a baby involved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a baby in existence. Oh, and I guess we forgot to mention on the last episode, Merry Christmas. So Happy New Year.
Yeah, this will be the episode that comes out right before the New Year, right?
Yeah, so we forgot to tell you Merry Christmas, but coming up, Happy New Year. Unless you're listening to this in 2026, then don't worry about it. So, this one is labeled as the pre-1964 days.
Grief.
The boys with the talent.
The baby Jesus.
Part
For
3.
a man that's been around cyanide a lot in his life and been really sick, he can remember a lot of things.
Maybe cyanide is like mutates you.
Is that the cure for Alzheimer's?
That's actually why they don't want people to have it anymore. It's like playing with mercury. They took it away from all the thermometers because it actually helps you.
It's a cure for dementia.
Lead poisoning isn't a real thing.
To get a glimpse of the weekly races held in the neighboring America on the base, a crowd of young Japanese people had clustered along the steel fence every Sunday afternoon after the base's chapel services. More and more Japanese were becoming members of the KTA, and in November of 1960 came the Honda Dream Supersport CB72 Hawk, a bike that changed both Pop Yoshimura's life and the Japanese motorcycle racing scene forever. It was sensational. As stated on its brochures, the CB72 could not be run in top gear below 70 kilometers an hour, while the Triumph BSA and the BMW then were all using conventional overhead valve mechanisms on their bikes. The 247cc CB72 and its big brother, the 305 CB77, which came out in 1961, both featured 4-stroke parallel twin cylinder engines with overhead camshaft. Pop initially had not taken much interest in these bikes since he was disappointed with the hard-to-tune engine design of its ancestors, the Honda CB70, but then he found out that the CB72 and 77 had a much stronger crankshaft with only a press-on fit instead of 2 with the C70. Additionally, there were 2 different crankshaft options to choose from. The 180-degree type with irregular firing intervals, suitable for high RPM uses,
or a 270.
Or the traditional 360 type 2, which was suitable for low to mid-range RPMs. Pops obviously preferred type 1, which was produce less vibration at high RPMs and could deliver more power. Best of all, they were much cheaper than European imports.
Which makes sense. I would love to have a 305 Dream. That would be they are so cool looking.
So the CB-72 and 77 gave the Japanese an opportunity to leap over the fence, and some of those men and boys had real potential to become elite racers. The first Yoshimura employee was Fufuko Kurdome. Pop first met him at a drag race at the Aisha Air Base, in which Kurdome was riding a 77. Pop
He was also
him.
American. He just went by that name.
Pop hired him not only as a racer, but also as a mechanic and a salesman. He's on a fast bike, good at speaking broken English. He was from the South.
From South.
Great at getting along with people, and much better at collecting bills from American troops. In fact, Pop had never collected unpaid bills himself. Yoshimura's first race aid rider, Fuko, with a Yoshimura tuned Honda CB-72, Karun was one of the few Japanese members of the Aisha Timing Association and was working at a local Honda dealer as a factory manager before Pop hired him. He not only became a Yoshimura rider, but also a great salesperson, as well as an acting manager of both Yoshimura Motors and KTA. Behind him is a sign. Oh, that's, for some reason, that's a picture of a sign. Behind him, there was a picture of a sign.
Well, it's fine.
Then came two more very talented boys. So this is about basically him formulating his squad. He's
Creating the
he's
company.
creating the regulators. They were both.
All right, guys,
boys.
follow me into battle.
Some of us might not go back, aka y'all.
Y'all.
Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to live with.
Been there, done that. They were both, the two next boys that he hired were both born in 44 and had something truly brilliant inside of them.
So he's hiring like 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah, one of them, however, was a troublemaker at first, making his parents wring their hands with despair. So
Why was he sick a lot too?
So Pop made him live at his house. So Pop often had to go to the local police department to pick him up, teaching him life lessons. Pop warned young racers not to waste their talents and trained them hard in the style of Imperial Navy flight school. When shit hits the fan, bail out.
Pull the chute.
If your bike ever catches fire, jump off.
Jump off. Cannot.
Hit that wall.
So he trained them in the style of Imperial Navy flight school with daily physical exercises, including early morning 4-kilometer runs, 100 stair runs, and stretch sessions sprinkled in between. This kind of physical
Ripcord pulling
training
practice.
was unusual for motorcycle racers by the standards at that time, but it was somewhat similar to the practice by professional racers today. Since they are now considered to be athletes, these young racers also went for riding practice several times a week. It was about 200-kilometer round trip along the coastal road following Pop on his BSA, and it took around 2 hours. That is hauling.
Yeah. I mean, for that time,
That
absolutely.
means they're running a constant 62 miles an hour, essentially.
Basically. Well, especially on a bike that's barely able to make it to 80.
Yeah.
You're running wide open the entire way.
Well, we're talking about going and running 120 miles
Yeah.
in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's not unreal,
No.
but like Nashville's 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times on a trip to Nashville, we'll run 70 or 80,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it still takes us 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's 4 o'clock in the morning and
Oh,
we're going
yeah.
to Sturgis.
And then
There's
it takes
no
us like an
traffic.
hour and a half.
Yes. So their racetracks were located on U.S. military bases and were open only on the weekends. So public roads were the only places that they could practice riding. Fukumo on the number 3 CB-72 and Konomi on the number 100 CB-77, the two became Yoshimura riders when they were teenagers, but Pop nurtured them and later introduced them to ex-GP racer Kanujiro, who in turn recruited them to the Honda-sponsored racing school at the Suzuki circuit.
Suzuka
circuit. Thank you. With the help of advice, both riders gradually became better racers. Years later, one of them confessed, "I surely would have become a serious delinquent if I hadn't met Pop and gone through his tough training. His experience with Pop might have saved him." After retiring from his racing career, he launched Team Kutake RSC to nurture future racers, including the late Dazukatu, Turo Hukwana, and Akira Yanagawa.
Okay, yeah, I remember all those guys.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yep, every single one of them.
Yep.
We actually went to different schools together.
They're real good friends.
Kutaka tended to manage untamed mechanics by instinct alone. Nagamatsu, on the other hand, had a radical but clever, knee down but slightly off the seat riding form. I just figured it out myself.
You actually see that a lot now.
Yeah. I just figured it out myself. That was the only way I could have gone around those slippery dirt and paved corners at high speeds on a bike with almost no lean angle, recalls Nagamatsu. His prominent riding style was seen in local races in the early 60s, nearly 10 years before the late Jarno Surin shocked the world with his hang-off in GP races, also known as knee down. Yoshimura's CBs were quick, but Kotomo also had developed a new riding technique and a handsome lean with style, which made him known as Surtees of Japan. On his helmet is a map of Kaushu. So he used to put a map on his helmet. So he was like the first racer with a custom painted helmet.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Another star rider at the racetrack was Akira Matsumoto.
Yeah, hey, look, there you go.
I know that one. I literally know the name Matsumoto.
I've heard it before.
I'm sure he's
Was
probably
a tall
not.
lad who was famous for his sharp riding style rivaling the Nagamatsu. He was a member of Team Fukuoka Honda, the chief rival and comrade of Yoshimura riders, and was coached by their team leader, Kamogawa, with whom Pop met at Zuku. On a Honda CR72 production, racers... Nope, forget that. It's another... Like, so they put in italics
Yeah.
when it's for a picture,
Yep.
but this is for a picture.
But it's not italics. It's like a paragraph that goes under a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pop disclosed to the riders at Ganusu every modification he had done to the bike. Matsumoto remembers every part of his engine was polished like a mirror, and every bike he built had lightened holes all over the engine and chassis. However, Pop had never modified the crankshaft before then, other than buffing. Team Honda suggested that lightened of the crankshaft would increase the engine speed and power, but Pop told them to leave it stock, believing that it already optimized for the best performance possible. At his experiment, Honda tried the idea on their CB72, and much to their surprise, won the next race against the Yoshimura CB72.
You know, it's interesting to think about because like we've gotten the 250 Dream and the 305 Dream here in the United States. And I've ridden a 305 Dream. Never once did I ever ride that bike and think that, man, this is a performance machine.
Yep.
Like, and we're talking about in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like I compared to the KZ, which you have experience riding, the Dream just, I could putt around at 40 miles an hour. This is good.
Yeah, because this whole crankshaft stuff was happening in 62.
Yeah.
Based on what that picture said.
Which is only, we're talking,
Well, he's 40, and he's 40.
Yes. We're only talking about 7 years before the CB750.
So,
yeah.
Perhaps inspired by the incident, Pop then began to light the crankshafts to an extreme, and afterwards the Yoshimura CB72 became far faster than Honda's CB72.
I'm sure it did.
After all, mass production motorcycles in those days still had plenty of room to be tuned for more power. Pop showed his lightened crankshaft to Team Honda, since they were friends, and he had nothing to hide. Pop also took his formula for high left camshafts one step further. Instead of just reducing the base circle diameter of a stock cam, the new method is implemented by fusing Stella alloy onto the cam lobes before the grinding process to produce even more valve lift. The CB72-77 also provided a great opportunity for Pop to try different tuning methods. Kamaguana rounds a corner on his CB when he was a cleverly celebrated ace rider of Yoshimura rival team on rival's team Honda, as well as one of the leaders of Japanese riders in the KTA. Brilliant mechanics at local Honda dealers came up with some great ideas Pop hadn't thought of, such as lightening the crankshaft. They
already did that.
Itself. Yeah, maybe he didn't. We said he didn't have to mention. Maybe
The cyanide's getting to him.
yeah.
That ulcer came back.
Still, he knew something was missing. In addition to motorcycle tuning, Pop also worked on tuning the people and the environments surrounding the racing scene. In late March of '62, he made a trip to Tokyo to meet Fumoto Saki, the chairman of the MCFAJ, also known as the Motorcycle Club Federation of All Japan, and publisher of Motorcycling Magazine, to ask him to hold a clubman race in Kyushu. Although Pop had never met Saki before, KTA had been an MCFAJ member since 1959. Since its launch of the first all Japanese motorcycle clubman race at the Osma Highland Motor Vehicle Test Course in 1958, the MCFAJ had become a crucial element of Japanese motorcycle scene.
You know what that sounds like? What was the big the motorcycle organization here in the United States? Like I can't think of not
the AMA.
The AMA. That's what I was thinking. American Motorcycles. That's exactly
that's
what
this is.
That's their version of the AMA.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
So Pop presented the allure of a racetrack along with increasing popularity of racers held by the KTA, and added that many new entrants are coming from outside. Saki at the time had not yet decided the location. Do what?
I said they're coming in from the outside. You got to close those borders.
Saki at the time had not yet decided the location for the clubman race of that year, but as most of the members of the racing club reside in and around Tokyo, the presentation was not enough to convince him. Pop revisited Saki again in April for the same request. 2 months later, in June 1962, Saki traveled to Kyushu to visit Yoshimura Motors and to have the third meeting with Pop. The decision was finally reached. Gadnushu, the home of Pop for American troops and all motorcycle racers in Kyushu, was chose to host
the 5th all Japanese motorcycle clubman race in July of 1962.
On the 14th and 15th of July.
On the 14th, do you have the same information on yours? Did you print it out twice?
No. Why? Has everything I said on that piece of paper?
No. That's you were getting to like.
I think it overlaps.
Okay.
At the beginning and end.
He's forgetting what he already told the guy typing this out, and he says it again.
It's that dementia.
Yeah. Yoshimura Ace Racers with a Honda CR. Nope. So that was another picture thing.
So apparently tens of thousands of people came out to watch the 5th All-Japan Motorcycle Clubman race, which was the first major race in Kyushu Island. And it was more like a festival, which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like a big motorcycle race festival party thing.
That sounds like fun.
I think we've been to that before. That's kind of what the racing in Atlanta's like.
Yeah, sort of. Not really.
I mean, if there was concerts at night, it would be more like a festival.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I'm thinking. Like, racing during the day and then just big party in the evenings. And,
like Bono's live on stage.
Yeah. World tour. So apparently, at this time, motorcycle racing was new to most of Japan. This was a very small group of people that were actually involved in it. However,
I believe that. I mean,
the party
motorcycles
scene
were new to Japan.
The party scene, it seems, is what brought people out. Like, hey, look, we're going to have a big party, but there's also going to be racing. And, they're doing 38 miles an hour. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
The race was organized by the Motorcycle Club Federation of All Japan and KTA, which meant Pop was in charge of administration of the race. He was number one man. The race was sponsored by Shell and Motorcyclist Magazine.
I've heard of Shell.
I've heard it. I've seen one. Usually when I'm at the beach.
Yeah.
Or in your bathroom.
Or in the bathroom.
Yeah.
A lot of them get tainted by this black sticky stuff that comes out of the ground, and I don't know. I don't know what to call that. I feel like Shell's involved in that too.
I feel like we call it Valdez.
Exxon. Domestic motorcycle manufacturers had been following the racing events at Gansu with interest for some time, following Honda's first Isle of Man TT Challenge in 1959. And I guess that's what Honda had. I still don't know what the challenge is. We've heard of it twice now, but there was a challenge in 59. We don't know what
it is.
We don't know what the challenge is, but no. Honda challenged the Isle of Man TT.
I challenge you, TT, to a race.
Japanese manufacturers such as Yamaha and Suzuki entered the world GP scene in order to enhance their prestige. Meanwhile, the top domestic race at the time was held on the volcanic ash track of Asama. There was a great...
I knew that was coming.
Well, I originally called it asthma, but it's ASAMA, Asama.
Yeah.
I'm on.
There was a great need for paved racetracks in Japan. So the entire time they've just been doing it on dirt.
I mean, we clarified earlier only 3/4 of the track was paved.
Dirt and gravel and hills.
Yeah, we're training on steel plates. That'll teach you how to ride good.
Do you think
that
the ironworks made the steel plates?
I bet you they made the connectors to hold the steel plates together.
They're going across the plates, and he's like, "My brother made these."
This is why I'm rich and can do this and not take payment from anybody. That's what it was. That's why he never took payment from anybody, because he didn't have to.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh yeah, I got family money. I don't care.
It's fine.
Yeah, you keep your $2 that you gave me to fix your motorcycle up for you." The third and fourth All Japan Motorcycle Clubman race were held on paved surfaces. They were a far cry from a real road race due to their simple course layouts. KTA races at the Ashiya Air Base were much the same. Ganozu? How do we say that? Ganozu? Gansu?
I don't know. A lot of times when you heard me say he and him and there and
yeah,
that's what I was putting that in there.
I figured because that's the track.
Yeah, I'm skipping over it unless it was relative to the story.
Yeah. On the other hand, they're talking about the racetracks that the AJMC occurred at. Had a long straight section over 1,000 meters and 90 degree corners with 2/3 of the course on tarmac. So the remainder of that was on gravel or dirt, or steel plates or
whatever.
Yeah, they were in the ocean for a little bit, probably. This section's in the woods.
Yeah.
The advantage of the race course, as well of the quickness of the Yoshimura CBs, had been attracting a great deal of factory attention. Ganozu had 3 long straights, and the game was simple. You just need to go faster, hit the late apex, accelerate quicker to win. Both powerful engines and light chassis were the assets of the Yoshimura CBs. The 5th all-Japanese motorcycle clubman race consisted of the novice race class 50, 125, 250, 350, and over 500cc, national level championship race 50, 125, 250, which invited the top 5 finishers of the clubman race. For the clubman race, the number of entrants 28 for 50, 39 for 125, 39 for 250, 24 for 350, and 9 for over 500cc. You have some good chances if you're only racing 9 other people.
I mean, yeah.
And for the championship race, 13 for 50, 17 for 125, and 11 for 250cc. A total of 173 bikes entered the qualifying on Saturday for the races on Sunday. Flip a page here. In addition to the KTA members, other privateers based in Kushiro, though there was no official factory team, makers included Honda, Yamaha, Tohatsu, Kalita, which was Suzuki, and some foreign makes represented by import dealers such as Balcorn Motors, entered in a substantial number. The factory supported machines ridden by contract riders. God, it's like a fever dream reading this. Honda bought production racers such as the 50cc CR110 Club Racing, 125 CR93 Bentley Racing. Yamaha entered a 250 TD1, a bunch of modified YDSs. They're trying to beat the CB72s. The prototypes were always hidden under tarps when not running and sent back to the Yamaha dealer as soon as they finished their day's leg. The races were so they had a lot of racers and over 20,000 spectators.
I mean,
for a race in the early 60s, that's really impressive.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And this is where Yoshimura got a lot of fame outside of the motorcycling community.
Yeah.
There was another race that following September, the nation's first all-paved closed course race following that race, the nation's first all-paved closed course race opened in Suzuka. The MFJ, the Motorcycle Federation of Japan, and the All Japan Road Race Championship was held there as an opening event. This was the first Japanese motorcycle Grand Prix in which Yoshimura rider Kunomi Nagamatsu, with the support of Pop, entered the GP 125 class on a Honda RC 145 dual overhead 8-valve parallel twin factory racer. The machine that won all 1962 GPs and finished in 7th place. There are a bunch of other races. Pop was still riding a BSA as a personal motorcycle. Because it says he rode all the way from Kyushu to Suzuka to visit his racer on his BSA. Oh, he actually didn't have a license to drive a car.
Okay.
Kind of neat.
All right.
But it was a long, rough ride on partially unpaved roads, but he later recalled the trip as fun. Ex-GP racer Kenjiro Tanaka was also from Fukuoka.
Fukuoka.
These names are, I know they're probably serious names and there's a way to say them, but good grief. He'd worked his way up from an auto race gamble motorcycle racing rider to become a Honda factory rider for the 1960 World GP. We went back in time. Stop going backwards in time. and he was put in charge of Honda-sponsored racing school. Pop had been talking to Tanaka to look after the Gansu riders, and Tanaka in turn had accepted Nagamatsu and Kutike. 1963, the air station held another road race, with the KTA and the Clubmen. 1964, Suzuka Circuit hosted the 18-hour endurance race that became a turning point for Pop and his company. The race started... Good grief. 10 o'clock at night.
Jeez, of course.
On August 1st and ended at 2 the next day.
So
it's an
6 p.m. or 6 a.m.?
6. It doesn't say.
So we don't know if it was like an 8-hour race.
Well, it said 18-hour endurance. It was an 18-hour endurance race.
But 6 to 2?
That's what it says.
6 p.m. to, or 6 p.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes, yeah.
Or it was 6 a.m. to 2 a.m.
I mean,
either way.
Either or.
Pop was the team manager for 2 KTA teams, Yoshimura and Fukuoka Honda.
I just say Team Honda.
Yeah. But there's other Team Hondas. Yoshimura team, yep, not saying any of their names. They were riding CB72s and CB77s.
Still?
Yes. But this is only in 64. We haven't advanced in time. There's a lot of stuff happening in a very short period of time. They competed against the factory Honda R&D team. The Yoshimura CBs were quick. After the Yoshimura team retired from the race, the other Honda team overtook the Honda R&D team, which then retired from the race with engine trouble. Pop stood at the top of the podium as team manager and made Yoshimura's fame national. Yeah, screw you. You just did an 18-hour race, but I managed the team. You get down there. I'm holding the trophy.
My money paid for all this.
Yeah. That sounds about
My
right.
daddy's conveyor belt connection money. So the performance of the Yoshimura's CB72-77s made a great impression on Honda, who sent its own GP team staff members to Zashukamama in the previous year, 1963.
One more time.
To ask for performance tuning services for its junior class production machines. Pop happily accepted the commission as a sign of his respect from Soichiro Honda, which kind of when Honda's R&D team.
Yeah, so this is where I have mentioned in the past about the connection between Honda and Yoshimura. Now, he also later develops a relationship with Suzuki, too.
Yeah.
So, but his connection with Honda goes back to the early racing days.
So at this point, Pop had decided that he was going to move to Tokyo or the United States. His business environment was then undergoing rapid transition, which makes sense. You know, you have Honda factory coming to you for performance on their GP bikes, which that's a huge thing.
Well, and this is what, the 50s?
No, 60s. We're 63, 64.
So, and we're about to see, I mean, that time period, you're about to see all the brands that we know and love out of Japan.
Yeah.
Start blowing up.
Apparently part of his reasoning for moving was the U.S. military bases were starting to close or get significantly smaller. So his pool of people was diminishing in the small town that he was in. So in 1965, he moved to Tokyo. Which, once again, I think that's pretty neat that you're such a good motorcycle, I'm going to say builder tuner, because he is building these bikes.
Yeah.
That, like, what would you do, you know, if you were just doing your own tuning and working on your Street Glide and someone from Harley Corporate comes to you like, Marcus, we need to know what you're doing to make these bikes as good as they are.
Well,
like that's essentially what happened.
Yeah.
yes and no. We are kind of still seeing that stuff today, though.
True.
Because you see stuff like that we'll use the bagger racing as an example.
Yeah.
That people like Vance and Hines does. And then Harley's like, hey, what did you do?
Yeah, or Saddleman's bikes and
yeah.
Yeah. And it makes sense. So. It makes sense. Well, and then you see a lot of that technology kind of trickle down.
Well, if you go to the drag bike world,
yeah.
You know who, like, when it comes to the American Muscle drag bike class, everybody goes, oh yeah, Harley dominated it. Well, Harley Motorcycle dominated it.
Yeah.
It was Vance and Hines, their race team.
Yeah, which makes sense.
And how much of that did trickle down?
Well, I mean, the V-Rod exists.
Well, that was the V-Rod is existing at that time. So, I mean, it does. And I get your point, but he was an operational shop with a race team.
He was an operational shop with a race team. But
Pop's building parts in his garage. And
but I would say it's kind of different because Vance and Hines is a relatively large company, and it was back then too.
It was back then too, but like at this period of time, the company Honda is not a huge company either.
True, but it's still pretty substantial.
Well, it's like, okay,
because Honda actually didn't get neutered after the war.
Well, like I know people that work for Harley Davidson.
Yes.
Okay.
I do too. Oh, I know people that work for Harley.
But for me to go, oh, can you introduce me to Bill Davidson or Willie G. Davidson? That's not going to happen. I can't even guarantee you that they've met him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But at that time, Pops knowing somebody on the Honda race team.
Well, and he had already met
but,
Mr. Honda.
Right. But at that time, that's what I'm saying. Pop's going, oh, can you introduce me to Mr. Honda? That conversation didn't have to take place because I guarantee you at that time, Honda might not have even had 100 employees.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the Honda that we think of today. That's
correct.
That's
I think
absolutely
that's the thing that we have to remember.
But I don't think it was as small as you're thinking. I think it was still a fairly large company because, like I said,
I still don't think it was that big.
They didn't really get punished post-war like a lot of other companies did.
Yoshimura is a much smaller team or a much smaller.
Well, it was. He had like 6 guys.
That doesn't mean he's not a huge company. There's a lot of companies we order stuff from now.
He wasn't manufacturing anything at that point. It was more only the race teams and him modifying the bikes that came in.
You know, Saddleman only has like 25 employees.
That is true.
But they're so well known in the industry. So, and there's a lot of companies like that. Like, as far as I know of, up until fairly recently, Carlini was still working out of a shop behind his house.
Which is kind of cool to think about.
And I mean, you see Carlini handlebars on Harley Cruisers all the time. So
I'll take your word for it because
if I went, that's a Carlini, you'd go, oh, that's a Carlini. Yes, I've seen those.
Okay. Do they have like some specific design to them or something?
Yes.
Okay.
So
makes sense then.
But anyways, yeah. I'm going to go talk to Bill Davidson now.
I think you should.
You should.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And on that bombshell.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.